Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the session on how to make or compile your own firmware for strictly uh, newbies like I used to be. I'm going to try to make this session as easy as possible for everybody to follow. If is any question that you have, please stop me at that moment. Ask the question because probably somebody else has the same question that you have. Well, without a more uh, 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 waiting, first of all, I want to know if everybody is able to see the screen that I'm sharing with you. So if somebody can let me know,
Yes, we can
that would
see
be
it.
perfect. All right, so let me explain a little bit of why we need firmware and why it is a good idea to make your own one. Uh, Everybody has a computer. Everybody has a Windows computer, or everybody has a Macintosh computer, or both. And you notice that every time that you add something or remove something from the computer immediately detects the new device. It's what we call it plug and play. Not always was like that with computers. Before, you used to have to tell the computer what program you have to install or what driver you have to install to use a new video card, a new audio card, a new network card, etc., etc. The same is happening with the printers today. The 3D printers coming from in our hobby, in our system, is that we love to mess with our 3D printer. We love to add or remove things, make it bigger, hotter, taller, change the drivers, etc., etc. And because of this, we need to tell the printer what we add, what is new to the printer, and we do that through the firmware. It's a lot of times that you can do any changes through the slicer. Maybe process slicer, super slicer, Cura, whatever you use. You can change some things in there. But in the moment that you reboot the printer or shut down the computer, you will have to do it again. It's not really kept on memory. To avoid that, we create a firmware. And even that is several out there, several people has the awesome job to create firmware or programs for all of us. The most popular at this moment is Marlin. And the people from Marlin has put a couple of programs out there for us to create our own tailored firmware, tailored to our printers. And I'm going to explain you a little bit about that. So let's go to our first um, uh, 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 screen. So before we start, this is what exactly we will need to start compiling our firmware. So until recently, everything that is Marlin is now only compiled through Visual Studio Code, which is a program from Microsoft. It's free. You can download it anytime you want. Just be sure that you have the correct version for your computer. If it's a Windows machine, if it's 32-bit Windows, it's a 64-bit Windows, or it's a Macintosh version. Also, they have for Linux, in case that you have a computer that case. Uh, Marlin, we need to also go to the Marlin website, which I am putting for you right there. And we need to get two folders from them. The newest version of Marlin and a folder with all the examples of all possible combinations of printers and boards. I'm going to go, I will show you step by step how to do this, but this is what I want you to see. I'm going to post this PowerPoint presentation later on too. In that way, you can see it at home. And the another thing that we will need is two extensions in your VS Code program. One is Platformio, which looks like a alien or insect, and Marlin Auto Build that will help you to compile. Instead of taking you 1 hour to compile, you can compile everything in just 10 minutes. All right. So this is how the website looks. If you see the first one, the Visual Studio Code, you can go there and download the Windows version or the Macintosh version again and install it right away. That is the easiest way to do. And if you go later on to the Marlin firmware website, which also, let me go back one, and that way you can see it. If you wanna just Google code Visual Studio Code, sorry, in Google, or GitHub Marlin firmware, that will tell you there too. As you can see in the Marlin firmware website, and we are going to go there, I'm going to go live, in that way you can see what to do. Be sure that the part that says bug fix, I don't know, you can notice, I don't know if, no, you cannot see my screen. Let's see. Okay, you see my cursor? In this part here that says bug fix 2.0x, be sure that that is what you download. That is the newest version. As you can see, this is from today. This is a picture that I took today. Oh, sorry, let me go one back. Somebody did a change just 1 hour ago. So that is important. Keep up to date. Everything is the best that you can do. Uh, if you open Visual Studio Code, you will be able to see a welcome screen just like this, except that the icons that you have in the left side bar, that things will not be there. That is the extensions that we will install, and I will show you also how get installed. Uh, this is how we look when you finally install Platformio, and this is how we look right after you install Marlin extension 2. All right, so let's keep this here, and now let me show you live how we are going to do this. So I'm going to share now this screen with you guys. That way you can see the program itself. And if more people coming, so let me open it for them. All right. So as you can see, after you download and install Visual Studio Code, the first thing that you have to do is go where is the extension installer. And this will ask you for what do you want to install. As you can see, I already previously installed my Platformio and my Auto Build Marlin. But it's very easy to do. The only thing that you have to do is in the search bar, just type exactly what is the extension that you want. You can see I have Platformio already. And let me put it all together. That way you can see. So it's the first one. You just need to click that one. And here where I, in mine says uninstall, in yours will says install. So just click it, install it, and we will be ready to go. The same way for the auto build. So for that one, I just type Marlin. And normally will be the first option, Marlin auto build. And that the same way in your screen will says install. Mine is already installed. And I have to tell you, Platformio take around sometimes 10 to 15 minutes to install. It's a long extension. The Marlin Auto Build is pretty fast. And you will notice that immediately it's finished to install, you will have these icons here. The face of the, let me mute here, sorry. the face of the insect, the icon for that, and the M that looks like McDonald's, maybe I'm hungry. Uh, that's for Marlin. All right, perfect. Now let's come back a little bit to our computer and look for that site that I want to show you what to do with. So let me share again the screen. Let's see, now you can see my back, sorry. All right, and now you can see the screen here. So I will go to Google. And the first thing that I'm going to Google is Visual Studio. Visual Studio Code. Normally you have is the first option right there. And download for Windows. As you can see, if you click the icon right there, the arrow coming down, you have also different versions. So just be sure that you have the correct one. The one that I have is the Windows 64, which is 64-bit. The other downloads will allow you to download for 32 and older versions, as you can see. But normally that is not what happened. Perfect. So now, after download that and install it, let me just go back here. The next thing that I need to get will be the folders from Marlin. So I'm going to get git
Yeah, no sound.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Thank you guys.
Yep.
Uh, okay, so go to the, let me repeat it again. If you open the Marlin firmware GitHub site, be sure that you drop down the menu here in the upper left corner of the screen and choose the version bugfix 2.0x. That is the newest version available. And as you can see the somebody changed something 4 hours ago. Some things were changed 5 months ago, but it's important to get the newest version. This is when somebody find a problem, uh, they try to fix it right away for everybody. After I'm sure that I have bugfix 2.0 here in that part, please download the code. Click the green button and go where you can see download zip. So you download the zip file there. And meanwhile, that's happened. Okay, let me see. Is a question there? Mute. No, I think, thank you. I think I now everybody can hear me, right? All right. So after I download that version, I want you to look for the folder that says config. which is right here. I don't know if you can see it. The configuration file. Everybody can hear me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I will go to the config folder. I will open the config folder. I think, let's see, you can see that. The connection is a little bit slow, sorry. But if you can see the configuration folder, go there. Inside the configuration folder, you have two links. I want you to go to the second one. The second one is basically the archive with most examples of cars. So go to the second one and download that one too. After you have downloaded both folders, now you are able to close your browser and let me get you back to the screen. Very important point here. When you are using the folder that you just download, and mine get download in the downloads folder, uh, as you can see, they are compressed, they are zipped. I'm going to be sure that I'm going to extract or unzip that folder in the root of my hard drive, the root of C, which is just basically right here. And as you can see, I already opened it. I have Marlin bug fix and the Marlin configuration fix. I will suggest to change the name. Windows, at least Windows, Macintosh is okay, but Windows computers love small names. The longer the name of a folder or a file is, the more problems you have later on. Windows computers, they have problems with names as long as 256 characters. So if you are looking for something inside a folder, inside a folder, inside a folder, and the name get bigger than 256 characters, Windows has issues with that. So as you can see, I copy that folder and I just name it configurations. And I copy the folder and I just copy, name it Marlin. And if I open Marlin, be sure that you have more or less that file structure and look for the file called platformio.ini. That is important to have. Also, you will notice that is another folder called Marlin inside that Marlin. I want to tell you that be sure that when we open Visual Studio Code is the first Marlin folder, the one that we choose. I'm going to show you because people sometimes open this one and they cannot compile. So be sure that you can open that one. And I have a lot of examples already for my compilings. So let this one open here, all right? Let's open another screen, another file explorer. At this time, let's see what is in the second folder that we download from Marlin website. And in this case, after I unzip it, let me show you how it looks probably for you. Will looks like that, configuration bugfix 2.0x. After I expanded or extracted or unzip it, whatever you wanna call it, I have, you can put that one anywhere you want, but I just have it here. I again rename it to make it shorter, and I just call it configuration. Inside, you have another folder called config, and inside that, you have a folder called examples. If I open that one, I want you to notice that is every single brand of 3D printers right there. So from 3D printer brands that I never hear about it, all the way to the most popular ones. And I think at this moment, the most popular 3D printing company is Creality. So if I open Creality, also you will see that it is every version, or at least the newest versions of Creality that you can get. Uh, Everybody's okay with that? Everybody is seeing that? Perfect. So the most popular one too, at this moment, I think is between the Ender 3 Pro and the Ender 3 V2, the version 2. But let's open the Virtual 3 Pro. In that way, you can see also. As you can see, that 3D printer, that version of that 3D printer, you can have it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different ports. So Creality version 1 is the old version. I think that is around 1 year ago. If you bought it, it's probably that's what you have. And the new two versions, which is the 4.2.2 and the 4.2.7. But if you are like me, that I love the SKR minis, you can see that is also different versions for that. For this example, I will use the one that I have, but you can use exactly the one that you need. That's why it's so important that you know what is the board that you have installed in your printer. That's how you will tell with the firmware how to behave. So open that, and as you can see, sometimes I have only two files. Sometimes I have three, sometimes I have four, but the important ones is the configuration H file and the configuration advanced or ADB.h file. That is the one that is going to tell the printer how to behave when you send something to print. So I'm going to copy all of them, and I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste it in the second folder of Marlin. And I'm sure it's going to tell you, hey, I already have these files. Are you sure you want to replace it? Yes, I want to replace that one with the specific ones that I have for my printer. After I do that, I can close all these. And now I can open again Virtual Studio Code. So normally you will see it, let me close this, something like this opening. So now the thing that I will do is open the folder and localize the folder from Marlin that I just copy and open in the root of C. So I go to configurations, sorry, Marlin, and I'm going to select that one, the first one. If you didn't change the name, probably you will have to open this one, Marlin bug fix. But if you remove the extra title, like I do, I just go to that Marlin and I just select that folder. Be sure that looks something like this. Let me actually close it. Normally it will look like this when you open the folder. So be sure again that Platformio is there, and that is the folder called Marlin. Expand that, clicking the arrow pointing there, and look for the files that you just copy over. The first one that I will open is the configuration H, the one that is in red color already. And as you can see, sometimes open all the way in the top, sometimes open in the middle, etc., but go all the way in the top. Now, I'm going to send you also the information of what every part of the firmware does. So I'm going to change just a couple things for you to see how is the process. In this case, the first part is telling me who create the firmware, who create Marlin, when was created. Looked like it was in 2011, and it's telling you that the person, the user was Camille Goebbels and Eric van der Salm. So they are the creators of all these first. It's telling you that the program is free. Please don't buy this. If somebody's helping you, compiling this, yeah, probably you can get some money to the guy. But if you are going to yourself and somebody says, "Oh yeah, I can sell you this," like, no, this is free. Be sure about that. Everybody can use it, and etc. etc. So the first thing that you can see in line 24, and the numbers of the lines can change depending of your board. In some boards, this line can be in line 20 or line 28. That's okay. But in this one, as you can see, it's telling me that is the Creality Ender 3 Pro, and it's going to be using the VTH SKR Mini E3 card. The rest thing is just normal. Now, I want you to see that everything is in a green color. And a lot of things in front of them comes with two forward slashes. Everything in this code, in this program that you can see here, everything that has two forward slashes in front or the asterisk means that it's not for the computer to read, it's not for the printer to read. Sometimes it's for you only to know what is this about. That's one. And two, some of the things here are disabled. And some of the things that we need to install in the printer, I'm going to put example of VL Touch, by example. I'm going to show you that by default is disabled, and I will show you how to enable it here. So the next step is telling you define who is the one modifying this. So normally the thing that I will do here is put my name. In that way, if somebody wanna know who changed it and contact me, they can do it. So I can put my entire name here. If you want, you can put yours, etc., etc. And I will continue going down. The next step here is telling me how my printer is going to be communicating with a computer in case that I need to connect it via USB. So it's going to use the serial port number 2 or number -1, and the speed will be 115,200 volts. But you can change it. Normally, that is the standard for every printer to connect to a computer. Some older 3D printers, actually, you have to put it slower. I see a ton of them in 5700. Or suppose newer computers and newer boards can go higher than that. But the standard is the 115 200,000. And you can change that number right there too. The next line that I like always to modify is the custom machine name, which is in this case, line 136. Normally, I will put the name of the person that I'm making the firmware, or in my case, if it's me. So I can put just Sergio's Ender 3 Pro. And I do this because it's people that have several 3D printers. And they want to know if, in case that they're using, by example, Octoprint, which printer is which one. If all of them have the same name, it's a little bit complicated, or if they have the same model. So even somebody was asking me to name their printers like drinking things. So one was tequila, vodka, whiskey. So was actually fun. And yeah, actually, some of them is calling the same name of his kids, like Johnny, Joe, Jamie. So you can do that there. In that way, you don't confuse. Plus, also, this is a way to check if the firmware was installed correctly. You see your name or the name of the printer that you just modified in the screen of the printer means that you are okay, that is there. Um, so in general, this is going to tell you everything that you have to modify. I am not going to be doing this in depth because it will take me forever. And I want you to really uh, capture what is this in a beginner's level. Later on, if you want to contact me, I can give you more specific of what you can change or you can modify. Uh, I can tell you that here you can also change the temperature of your hot band. Let me see if I can find it right here. Uh, by example, people with sensors, if you have, normally people has only one, and that's temperature sensor 0, which is the first one. As you can see, is a number 1 there. So that means that it's active. Also, the one for the bed is active, but it's people that has also chambers. You know, they buy these like enclosures for the printers, and some of them have sensors, so you can also activate that there. Uh, all this is to tell you if your printer get to certain temperature, have shut down for security reason. In that way, you don't start burning your house. All that is handled here. As you can see in this one, by example, line 470 is telling us what is the maximum temperature that the hot end can reach. So as you can see, all these options are to 275, which is enough for PLA, PLA Plus, ABS, PTEC, and TPU. But if you want to start working with nylon or carbon fiber, you will have to go to 300, 330. If you are going to do that, I suggest two things. One, try to install all metal, and I use mine is a micro Swiss all metal extruder. That can get you higher temperature without any risk, any problem, and also get enclosure. Nylon, actually, ABS is a little bit pretty stinky, not as toxic, but nylon and carbon fiber is somewhat toxic. So be sure that you have that in far from your room, and also with a good ventilation. Okay, but this is where you can change the temperature. If you don't change the temperature and you want to go to 300, at the moment that the printer goes to 275, will shut down automatically. That's the safe system that you have. As you can see, also the bed temperature in line 478 is 125. That is normally the standard one for the normal, filament that we use. But for again nylon and carbon fiber, you have to increase that to at least 150. And again, the chamber or the enclosure, this one is for 60, and that's all the defaults. So I'm going to continue showing things like that. But one of the amazing tools that you have to look through all these is here in Edit. You can go to the option to find, and as you can see, is opening a search screen. Right now, it says enter, but I'm going to erase that and I'm going to put size. And as you can see, immediately goes to the first word that find with size, and it's the size of the bed. Now, a couple months ago, I bought an Ender extender upgrade for mine, which I love it because now instead of be 235 millimeters, and all this is in millimeters.
400.
Yeah, mine is 400. So now I can make things in one shot. I used to have to do it in parts, and let me say, glue the parts is a pain.
Oh, locked up.
Is it him or you?
I don't know.
It's part of the problem. It'll
He's
tell you.
froze.
There we go. There we go.
You're no sound.
Perfect. Sorry. Look like
There you
every
go.
time I come back is putting me in mute. All right. As you can see, I changed the size of the bed right there. And in case that you have direct drivers, also depending on what direct drive you have to change the X minimum position, Y minimum position, and Z minimum position. Uh, Refer to your manual for the direct drive. It is what you change in there. And the piece of resistance, like everybody now call it, is the BL touch. With big beds, make a difference. Right now, also I'm testing ECBABL from TH3V, and I'm pretty happy to tell you that it's working very well. I don't have mechanical parts like the BL touch. It's way easier to install. A lot of people have problems with the BL touch because the cables that comes with the BL touch are crossover. So you have to remove the pins, readjust the location of the pins, and put it back and continue having the cable like that. The EC ABL, again from TH3V, is working without anything. You don't even need to open the box of the motherboard. All right. So after write that, let me, in the search little bar that I have there, I'm going to type BL touch. And this is what I was telling you before. If I have two / in front of that option, means that it's disabled. That is not going to work. So I have to tell the printer through the firmware that now I bought a BL touch and I want it to work. So to do that, I will go in front of that and I will remove the / And immediately you can see that that changed now to a pinkish, reddish color and blue. So now it's telling me that it's active. And now that it's active, I have to tell how the BL touch is going to be working. For that, I can just scroll down. All these automatically get activated when you change or activate the BL touch. And I'm going to show you this graphic here, which is where you have to do the settings to tell the printer where exactly is the official center of your bed now that you have the BL touch. As you can see, this very weird graphic that in the top says back, in the bottom says front, left side says left, and the right side says right. And then I have numbers and positive and negative numbers. What the heck is that? Well, imagine that you are in the top of your printer, looking down like a satellite or aerial view. You are watching from the top, and the end is where your nozzle is. So everything from the left to the nozzle will be a negative number. Everything to the right will be positive. Everything in the back will be positive, and everything in the front will be also negative. And I will need you to get a caliper. That's the best thing that you can do. If you have a ruler or a metric bar that you can use, is okay too. But the caliper will give you a little bit more exact number. In my case, my printer, sorry, let me put here very fast. Okay. In my case, my BL touch is in the left of my nozzle and to the front. So it's both negative numbers. And in my measures was minus 44. So as you can see, I can erase that 10 that is there by default, and was minus 8. Normally, I don't touch the C offset. I don't need to touch it because I can modify that when I am actually uh, calibrating the printer for first time. After I'm doing that, I have to tell the printer how I'm going to probe it, how I'm going to use that BL touch. And to do that, I will look, well, let's do this. I'm going to do it faster. You look for the word by, there you go. I'm going to go for the probing. Let me show you bed probe. I'm going to go for the bed leveling part of the firmware. This will explain you step by step which one is the one that you need and why you are using that one. In my case, I'm going to disable the manual one, which is the mesh bed leveling. I'm going to put 2 / in front. And I will activate the one that is specific for your BL touch, or actually for also your EC ABL. So I'm going to remove that 2 lines there. And as you can see, again, get activated and it's ready to go. And the last thing that I'm going to modify here in this configuration file is I'm going to tell the printer not to crash with my bed. And when the nozzle sometimes crash, is because doesn't have a stopper. In this case, it's called C_save homing. And you can see it right there. I'm going to activate that one too. Yep. Sometimes, as you can see, if I erase something else, I just undo and automatically will go there. So that is what I need to do to my printer. I changed the size of the bed and I added the BL touch. After that, I'm going to show you the another file that is good to have modified, which is the configuration advanced file. And normally the only one that I do in that one, I'm going to look to install or activate actually the baby steps. This will allow me in the middle of the print to go up and down to be sure that I'm printing correctly. Sometimes also when you have problems with the filament and you want to change the roll or you got out of the filament, it's very good idea to have this option on hand. And for that, I will look for the baby. I just put baby, and that will take me again to baby step. And by default, it's activated. You see in line 1755, the baby stepping is activated and is basically ready to go. So in more ado, the thing that I would go now to do is go to the M that we have pre-installed, the part of the extensions. I'm going to open that one. And as you can see, is a couple of icons here in the top. Hammer, arrow pointing up, a trash can, and a gear. The only one that I care about it will be the hammer. So I'm going to the hammer, and I'm going to open that one. And let me actually, as you can see, already that is in green, but I'm going to clean it. In that way, we can start from scratch. Right now, the program is erasing everything that I did previously. In that way, I don't have anything from somebody else or any changes, and I'm sure that it's clean. Right after that, I want you to check the next thing. Uh, I'm going to drop this down a little bit. In that way, you can see that this board is giving me 4 different options. And the first two in the top is specific for you to, when you have the firmware file, copy that firmware file to a SD card. The last four in the list, the one that you can see that says USB and 512K USB, that is the one that you can install through a USB cable from your computer. The one that I recommend is actually the first two, the VTT and the VTT 512K, because this is the one that you can just copy directly in a SD card and put it in the printer. I know some people has issues with the cable. The USB cables are not working very well, or the connection gets lost, or the computer gets shut down in the middle of the firmware, and they lose, basically, they break the system. So nothing as installed in a SD card, a clean SD card. If you can be sure that nothing else is in there, when you copy the file will be great. And be sure that also the card is formatted to 532. Okay, 532. So now the another thing that I want you to see is here I have like a problems and it's 126. Well, you know what? Forget about that. I don't care about that province. Just disregard that one. Output, nothing is in there. The console, nothing is in there either. So the one that I want to see is the terminal, the tab called terminal. That is the important one there. And without more ado, let's build that program. Let's compile. So I'm going to build, press build, and let's see what happens. Let me move this a little bit up. That way you can see how this is compiling. I hope this is successful and you see that is pretty easy, but also I'm going to go back in the configuration file and I'm going to make a mistake. In that way, I can show you also what to do when you have a problem and you don't get the results that you want. A lot of things that you are getting right now, as you can see, is like a slowing scanning dependency is the last things in the last phrase here, as you can see, is because the program is looking to put together everything that you change and see if it's correct, if it's right. So right now it's checking. So if you have a faster computer, will be fast. If you have a fast connection, also will be fast, because some of these parts get downloaded at the moment, or if it's the first time you are doing it, is downloading from the internet. As you can see, now it starts building. It's in the left side, it says compiling. So it's compiling. Let's see. I hope that we don't have any issues. Meanwhile, this happened. Do you have any questions? Anything? My dogs look like I have some questions down there. All right. No, no questions. No, nada, none, yet. Very well. I'm happy. I'm happy that this is happening. Okay, well, meanwhile, this is compiling, and you can see this is live. So it's taking some time. Normally, it will take around 3 to 5 minutes to do this. Again, depending on how fast is your computer. For this one, I already download everything that was needed, so that's good. And yeah, let's see that it's going. And right after we do the compiling, and I show you also what happens when you have an error in there, I'm going to continue very fast with what you do after you get the file. Oh, how did you find the original version of Bugfix in GitHub? Well, I went directly to Chrome and look for that. Let me show you. Meanwhile, that is compiling. Let me see if you can see my screen. There you go. If you go to Google or any browser that you want, and did I open it? Well, it's compiling as you can see. If you go to GitHub Marlin or Marlin GitHub, you can go and download the newest version. Also, you can download the stable version, which right now, actually, when you open that page, you see that says 2.0x. That is the stable version that they have. But I always like to go to the latest one, which is the bug fix. That is the one that suppose everybody is already, working on and fixing. As you can see, the build root folder was up to date 5 hours ago. If I go to the official one, just this one, the 2.0 branch, that tells you that doesn't have changed nothing, for example, in this folder in 3 years or 6 months. And actually, this one is 2 days ago. So perfect. So as you can see, it's still going there. It's slow but surely. It's almost done. Now it's archiving and cleaning. Perfect. And as you can see, now is successful. So now that it's successful, actually, let me drop down a little bit this screen. And you can see now that it's in green color. And you can see that now it's a folder here. If I click that little folder, this little folder will open the location of the firmware immediately. So if that is not the case, if you click that folder and doesn't open, just be sure that you have, was today at 8:23. That is the newest one. So I'm going to take this file and copy it exactly with that name to the SD card. Be sure that really, really, really the name is firmware.bin or .exe. Sometimes if you have a 8-bit card, instead of be firmware.bin, will be firmware.hex. So either way, be sure that it's lowercase and it's only that, no numbers, no more letters, etc., etc. If not, your printers will not recognize the name, will not know what to do with that file. All right. So now I'm going to show you what happened if I make a mistake, if I don't do something uh, with this. And let me show you. I'm going to go to the configuration folder again. There you go. And you see that says define the safe homing. I'm going to deactivate it. So I'm going to put 2 lines there. I'm going to go back again to the Marlin, auto Marlin. Let me get it here. I cannot see it. There you go. Let me open it again. I'm going to clean this. In that way, again, I have a clean slot. Everything is go back to zeros up here in that way. So right now it's completely clean. And now I'm going again to try to build it. But let's see what happened there. This time will be a little bit faster because now I already run it. So let me know if you, meanwhile, this is going to fail. Got the problem is fail. I have everything in red. So the thing that I'm going to do to check why I fail or why the compiling didn't run correctly, I'm going to scroll up all the way to the first red line that I find. So I can see that the first line in red says error, C safe homing is recommended. So I'm going to go back again to that line and I'm going to activate it. So the thing that I want to show you is in red, you will have the error that you have to correct. And in this case, it's only one error that I did because time. But also that's how it's done. Uh, let's compile it one more time. And as you can see now, the compile was faster. And one more time, I'm going to clean it first. I'm going to clean the mess, it's clean. And now that it's clean, I'm going to build again. Now that I activate the part that was complete. All right. So again, important, copy the file. And the file also will be located in the .pio folder, PIO. That is where, in case that you need to look for that later on, and you don't remember. Very good. All right, so it looked like it's passing that part that was having some errors. Perfect. Any questions? Anything that we are missing? Excellent. It's still compiling. Just had one above. Let's see. You're muted. Okay, that's fixed. I'm using an Ender 5 Plus with a MKFI. Okay, I couldn't find the specific folder on for my board. All right, yeah, your board is a little bit old. Sorry to tell you that, but the thing that I know is that board work a little bit like the SKR Turbo 1.4. So try to check if that will work. It's not really a generic configuration per se, all depending of the drivers that your car handle. Uh, it's very specific. It's like, hey, I have a Macintosh computer, but I put a Windows motherboard. So you have to be sure that everything is connected correctly. Sometimes it will work, sometimes doesn't. You will have to look for the specific components of your board to make a firmware for that. Always my suggestion is 3D printer is already a pretty complicated hobby. It's a lot of moving parts, not only mechanical parts, but also software parts. It's a lot of things that has to be working correctly. This is a hobby where precision is very, very important. And people that suffer, like a layer placement, they know that they have to adjust the belt, not too hard, not too loose. And so it's very, very precise. And again, knowing exactly what is in your in your board is great. And also something that is awesome is the community that we have, the groups. It's a lot of Facebook, Reddit, even I see sometimes Instagram. It's a lot of people out there that maybe one of them has your car and has some tricks to tell us and to learn from. So that would be great. Akon just had one of them. Okay. Yes, I think I did that for you pretty recent. So yeah, if you want to share with everybody, that would be good too. All right. Well, as you can see, this was successful finally. And now I'm going to tell you exactly what to do after. Let me share this screen, the another one. All right. Wait, here is going to share again, back again. All right. So things to remember about what we talk is be sure that the Marlin code is extracted in your C hard drive in the root of C. Be sure to rename the file to only Marlin. Like I tell you, Windows doesn't like long names. And sometimes you can see that it's a folder inside a folder inside a folder. And if they have long names, you have some issues. Uh, be sure to extract also the folder with examples, and in every folder brand, you have different versions of boards. The next thing that we do is when you are compiling, just when you are compiling, be sure that the firmware file is located. I put it there for you in the .pio folder. Inside also the build folder. Just be sure that the name is firmware. All cars version 1.1 point something will give you a .x. And if that is the case, you will need to install a bootloader. The car has so little amount of memory that they don't install extra things. So you will need to install by yourself the bootloader, which is a program that you will need to install with a special cable. And actually you will need to buy a car, Arduino card to flash it. Or you can do it also with your computer, but you will need a cable to do that, to connect to the board. My suggestion is if you have AV card and you are planning to upgrade your 3D printer, upgrade that one first. Again, my favorite one is the Big 3 Tech, the SKR Mini 3 version 2. That's the one that I have better results, and it's pretty easy. And you can upgrade it shape. The one that they send you with the printers normally is a very cheap one. Mine, I think, lasts for only 2 or 3 days. But be sure that is format with a FAT32. That way the printer can read it. The next step is after you have the firmware, like I told you before, if it's people out there that has already a touch screen and you have two options to handle the printer via touch or via, you know, the normal one with the button that you are rotating, be sure that before you install the printer, sorry, the firmware, be sure that is in the Marlin mode. Tell me, Akun, what is the question that you have? I saw you right there with a question. No, well, you can write it and I will tell everybody. The another one is in the moment that you install your SD card, please be sure that the printer is off. Turn on, wait around between, sometimes take between 30 and 60 seconds. Just be patient until the Marlin show up again. Uh, if the printer is asking you to reset the EEPROM, says yes, that will give you sure that everybody's the value there. If the name of the file now changed to uppercase letters, and instead to be .bin or .x, now it's .cur, .cure. All right. And before you start printing, let me pass you the next one. I think we're slow again a little bit. Okay, before you start printing, be sure to calibrate your Z offset. Don't start printing out of the gate right away after you install your firmware. When you start your firmware, basically it's like you got a new printer and it's crashing from zero, from nothing. You have to, again, label or be sure that the bed is labeled. If you have ABL, an automatic bed leveling device like BL Touch or ECBL, ABL, be sure again with the paper method, with the paper, you know, it's crashing between the bed and the hot end, the nozzle. If you can connect the printer if people want to know how to do that, we'll do it. Uh, you can do that and send some commands to the printer. All right, and let's see. This is the commands that you need to enter if you are able to do with the terminal, and automatically you will level and get your Z offset after you do all the. Beside that, if anybody has questions, I'm here. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you that we have more information. I put you the links from where you can find me. And I'm taking questions now. If somebody has any question, I will be happy to try to answer. So go ahead. At least we have 5 minutes to do this. Yes, this Jerry, yes, will be. I'm going to update this recording, and I'm going to put it online for everybody. I'm going to tell you that if you look for Dr. Firmware group in Facebook, is going to be there. Yours normally will take around 30 to 45 minutes for Zoom to render and post this online. So yes, don't worry, I will have this already in there. And again, you can reach me with any question that you have. I will be so happy to do it. Error 112. Is this related to leveling the bed? Very easy. We can go and check. This is one of the things that I want to show you. Let me close the screen here and let me show you. All right. So let's see. If you see my screen, I'm going to go to Google again, and I'm going to just type Marlin. Uh, that's all. Marlin. Oh well, you will find Marlin several things, but go to Marlin firmware, and right there, if you see the tab that says configure, I think it's a little bit in the tab that says configure. You can go and check directly all the options about compilers. So everything that we saw here, if I go to configuration H and I open that, you will see all the things that we changed. End stop, power supply, the extruder info, let's say the bed leveling, just by example, and that give you everything that is related to that. This is a very good place to look for information. But let's just search the error that you says, which is M112. Oh, so that doesn't look like is there. Let's see. Maybe I tap it incorrectly. Let me change. Let's see. The M12 error. So that is not telling me what is related to. Let's go even M112. Yeah. Are you sure it's that one? Luis, you can check that. Let me know. Okay. Steve is, I have an Ender 3 version 2. I ran into an issue where I install a firmware and I compile myself, but the Z-axis seemed to be inverted. All right. Yes, it's an option there that you can revert the order and you can make it true or false. Let me show you where is that line. If I again go to configure, and I'm going to the configuration H, I can look for invert the configuration Marlin. There you go. Let's wait for the it's low, sorry. Inverted, and you want to invert the z-axis movement. You will go to movement, and this is the line that probably will tell you.
Oh, hi, this is Steve. I do know how to invert it. My question was, it seemed like I had inverted it, and then I was like, oh, that doesn't seem right. And then I installed another
Okay.
firmware, which I knew worked after that. And
Uh-huh.
after I installed that one, it seemed like the inversion had persisted. Does this sound right to you? Do
No,
settings?
no, inversion. No, you can, when you do that, it's not even in your EEPROM. That is something that probably didn't pass correctly when you, are you sure you flash correctly the firmware? Because yeah, no, that's something that has to be completely related to firmware.
Yeah.
That's, if it's not that the case, I can tell you that yeah, your firmware in that part didn't did correctly the
Okay.
the inversion.
I did manage to fix it. The way I managed to fix it
Uh-huh.
was by I had compiled another version. I changed inverted to false, reflashed it, and then it worked. But it was weird because the firmware had previously worked, and then it didn't.
So I think the part that you said I reflash it, that's where probably work. That is where uh, fall into place.
Okay.
But good. I'm so
But
happy. Well, guys, if it's no more questions, I will like to say thank you so much for being here. If you have again any question, let me know, and I will be so happy to answer.
but
And
by the
please,
way,
guys,
oh,
yes, tell me.
sorry. Oh, that M112 error. If you
Uh-huh.
search the source code, it seems like it's related to temperature.
Can be
There-
what is telling you. Maybe when everything related to the temperature can be that your thermistor, which is the little white cable that has a glass tip that go actually inserted in a little hole in your hot end. That cable is extremely delicate. If you tie the screw in the hot end too hard, you will get false readings. Also, is one like that exactly going to your bed? And I have people that telling me that they have issues with that. And then they notice that the cable that goes under the bed got stuck with something underneath, and the cable just pulled when they was printing, and the thermistor or was broken or wasn't there. So that can be check that. Also, you have the configuration file. Check the limits of temperature for all right. Well, guys, I'm so happy. I'm here to help you. We are a community that we need each other to have a printer working in good shape, to make fun stuff or things that are required. I'm going to tell you that, by example, fun stuff. I've been doing a lot of weird things. This is something that I make over and over and over. And of course, you know, the classical uh, benchy. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a great night, and talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.